Does God exist? Well, sort of. Let me explain. Hey guys, Evan Young here. Thanks for checking out the video. So what did I mean when I say that God sort of exists? When most people think of God, they think of some big guy in the sky with long hair and a beard and lightning bolts ready to smite whatever he doesn't like. Well, that's not really the idea of God that I have in mind. That kind of God exists in mythologies and storybooks, and that's not what we're talking about. My question is there some kind of creative being that started the universe and is a supreme intelligence that's running the whole show? That kind of God, I think we can figure out using what we know about the universe. So what do we know about the universe that can help us with this idea of God? Well, the first thing I think is important to remember is the law of causality. The law of causality basically means that anything that has some kind of beginning has a cause to it. So the beginning of this video had a cause with my team. We planned it, we created it, and we put it up there. And the video began when you pressed start. Those are all causes that started that video. It had a beginning, so it has a cause. A house has a beginning because a construction team caused it to begin and caused it to happen. My basic point is that nothing in the observable universe pops into existence out of nowhere. Anything that has a beginning has some sort of cause. It's also important to understand that the universe has some kind of beginning. The universe began. Whether you want to call it the Big Bang, whether you want to call it creation, the universe began. And we know this because of a few simple ideas. The first is the second law of thermodynamics. This is the idea that everything is coming from order to chaos. Everything is slowly falling apart. Now, if there wasn't a beginning, everything in the universe would have already fallen apart to its maximum degree. So, if everything is falling apart, if we play it backwards, there was a point where it began to fall apart. The second thermodynamics is this law of entropy that shows there must have been a start to that situation. Another fact that supports the idea that the universe has a cause is what we call universal expansion. The idea that the planets are slowly growing apart further and further. Now, this wasn't well known until 1929 when Edwin Hubble created the first telescope that could really observe planets and the way that they moved. And he started to note the fact that the planets are separating. They're growing further and further apart from some kind of central point. Now, let's imagine if we took that universal expansion and pressed rewind. Everything comes back together to some kind of beginning point. Which leads me to the next idea, Einstein's general theory of relativity. This is the idea that time, space, and matter are all things that are working together. And if all those things are working together, and we pressed rewind and watched them go backwards, they come to a point where they had to have started. So, those ideas together demonstrate the fact that the universe has some kind of beginning. So if everything that begins has some kind of cause, and the universe has some kind of beginning, logically, that means the universe has some kind of cause. There must be something outside of the universe that caused it to exist. This is what we call the Kalam cosmological argument. This has been a statement that's been around from philosophers for centuries that believe that some kind of God must exist due to the fact that the universe must have been caused. So how do we go from some kind of cause to the universe to God? The cause cannot be a part of the universe because if there was a point which the universe didn't exist, then there would be nothing to cause the universe to come into existence. So the cause must be outside of that begun thing, the universe itself. And if it's outside of the universe, it can't be like the universe itself. The universe is essentially made out of 5 basic things. You have matter, everything that has mass and takes up space. If you have matter, you have to have somewhere to put it, so you have space. With space, you have to have when to put it, so you have time. The fact that things move show that there is energy, and the fact that there is all of this to be talked about shows that there is information. Whatever is outside of the universe has to be outside of those 5 things, so it must be immaterial, it must be spaceless, it must be timeless, it must be not tied to an energy source, so all-powerful in itself, and it shouldn't have to learn anything, so it must be all-knowing within itself. So what have we learned? There is a cause to the universe that is all of those 5 things. So you can call the cause of the universe that happens to be spaceless, timeless, immaterial, all-powerful, and all-knowing, whatever you would like. But it seems to me that that confidently answers the question that some kind of God must exist. So there's an answer to the question, does God exist? Thank you so much for joining in today's discussion. If you have other big questions you'd like to see discussed on this channel, please leave them in the comments below. If you want to learn more about answers to big questions about the universe, keep watching out for more videos. Thanks for being curious. I hope I explained it well. See you next time.